Good day, everybody. My name is Joe Russo with Klein Educational Systems, and this presentation is on the Skills USA Drones Competition. All you need to know. So, our goal is to inform educators of the requirements of the Skills USA Drones Competition, tell you everything you need to know about it, and then at the very end to help you make an informed purchasing decision, because not all drones are created equal, and we don't want you to get to the competition ready to go with your students, and then you can't perform all the tasks that are required or all the point required tasks in this competition. So it would hurt to get there, and then your students actually can't compete and everything, and then lose just because they didn't have the correct equipment. So standard number one. We're going to go through all 6 standards, then we're going to go through all 4 tasks. So standards are what you need to know, and tasks are what you have to do. So standard number 1 is students can prove knowledge and understanding of FAA regulations. You have to know FAA regulations. There's going to be a task later that's going to be a quiz, and so in your program, we just highly recommend if you study the Part 107 drone pilot license. So the Part 107 license is a license issued by the FAA. So this is your industry certification that you need for that CTE box to say, hey, listen, we got an industry certification at the end of our pathway. So make the Part 107 part of your program, study that information, then you're ready to go for this particular standard and then this quiz at the for the task. Standard number 2. Students can safely plan and both manually and autonomously fly SUAS, that's small unmanned aerial systems, drones as we know them, equipment and collect usable data. So this standard is the most easy for everyone to understand. You're going to fly drones and you're going to collect information. Okay, so easy. Standard 3. Students can store, organize, and deliver, communicate data in an acceptable manner based on industry standards. So you're going to fly drones, and then you're going to collect information with that drone, most likely pictures, things like that. And then with those pictures, you are then going to have to turn them into somebody in an organized and acceptable way. You can't just say, here's your pictures, pictures of what? How'd you title them? How'd you save them? How'd you turn them in? So this is going to be a standard that is going to be exercised using a computer. Standard 4. Students can demonstrate and operate a valid drone operational cycle. So this is kind of building on the other one. So this is everything for flight, from pre-flight to end flight to debriefing from the flight. So you were told to do something. What did you do before you started flying your drone? You flew your drone, you got back, what did you do with it? And then how'd you talk about it? And what did you tell people after you were done? Standard 5, students can demonstrate ability to utilize and design the design process and document and design the process in an engineering notebook. So there's an engineering component to this competition. So it's not just about flying the drone. There's an engineering piece here. So students have to design and make something with their drone so it can do a certain task. So that is vital. That is a very key point. I'm going to hit on it later when we get to the task, but this is a very, very important piece here. Standard 5, engineering notebook. Students are going to have to make something. Okay, not just fly a drone. In standard 6, students can utilize knowledge and information to troubleshoot repairs for a drone. So once again, very important. It's not just flying, you have to fix as well. Okay, not just flying, you have to fix. So that means you have to have the right stuff to fix if you're going to demonstrate this standard. So let's get to the task now, so we can see what we have to do, and that's going to make the standards become a little more evident. So task 1 is flight skills. Once again, this is obvious. There's a drone, and you're going to fly it, and you're going to do something with it. So in the flight skills section, there's going to be 3 tasks or 3 scenarios. Skills USA says to recommend indoors for your training when you're doing this at your school. Skills USA will obviously be indoors inside that stadium, inside a cage like this one you see here. And this task is 250 points. All 4 tasks are 250 points for a total of 1,000 points. So this task that you have to complete is this girl is flying a drone. This girl in the plaid shirt here, she's flying a drone, but there's a tarp in front of her and she can't see it. So she has to use a camera system on her controller to fly her drone. And then she has someone over here, the girl in the black, communicating with her, telling her what to do. So it's a practice in communication and also in flight without being able to see the drone. And you see these little red buckets. Those buckets have something inside of them. And then the drone has to go around and look inside and collect information. So that is an example of that is one of 3 scenarios in the 2021 competition. And just to be clear, the 21 competition is going to be different than 22, than 23, than 24, than 25. So this is what they did this year, but it will change year to year. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what to expect. So task number 2 or scenario number 2 is the drone has to then pick the correct colored ball and knock it off the platform. And so I'm going to iterate here that the drone has to fly into something and knock it over without crashing. And so this is where the engineering design process is going to come into play. How do I attach something to the drone? How do I help this drone out so that way it can still fly, but it can also complete the task at hand without crashing? So it has to pick the correct colored ball, knock it off the pedestal, and then that's that scenario. Oh. Task number 3rd scenario is it has to land, but there's multiple platforms and it has to land on the correct platform. And I think in this particular event, the platform has a color on the top of it, and that color corresponds to the ball you have to knock off. So you have to land it in the correct spot, not anywhere, but on the correct platform. So that was the 2021 competition. I'm actually going to show you a slide from a previous competition. The drone is right here in the middle. You see the orange and green foils that cover up the blades. And in this one, they had laser pointers mounted, and the drones had to fly around. You see these orbs, these Death Star looking orbs. They had to go around and hit the center, that white center with the laser. And then they also had to fly through these PVC obstacles in that process. So once again, another example of just a different kind of task to do when flying these drones. And then you see this little this black landing pad over here. They had to land on that after they were done. So just to give you another example of what kind of flight you're going to have to do. So task number 2, maintenance and troubleshooting. We talked about that with standard 6 a little while ago. So they have to maintain and troubleshoot a drone. Okay, so you can. I just listed the what they have to do, what they have to maintain here, and you can see it. Wiring for correct polarity. So they have to make sure the wires are connected in the right spot. Sorry. Are they wired correctly and with the correct positive negatives? The flight controller and the wiring configuration, the propeller orientation. Are they rotating the right way? Are they in the right spot? The electronic speed controllers or the ESCs. Those ESCs tell the motors how fast to spin so the drone stays level. Are their polarity and their orientation correct? So they have to really look at a drone that is not working correctly and maintain it and fix it. And there's more here. The structural system, the battery, getting it ready for flight. Is it pitching or rolling during flight as opposed to just standing still? Is it veering off to one side or the other? So there is a variety of things here that the students have to know about the drone in order to maintain them. So the key point from task number 2 is this. Once again, task number 2 is 250 points. It's vital. You have to have a drone that you can troubleshoot. The drone that you purchase needs to be one that you can mess with. So most drones are buy and fly. That means you buy them, you pull them out of the box, and you just go. But I mean, if the wires are all soldered on, not moving, can't do anything about it, that's not a good choice for this competition, because part of the task is understanding that wires are connected in the wrong spot, that the propellers are going in the wrong direction, that the ESCs are going the wrong way, that the motor's spinning the wrong way. So it's vital that you have a drone that you can assemble and disassemble and put together and understand, where things go and how they should be, because when you put things together and they mess up and then you fix it and then it works, that's where real learning occurs. It's not just about memorizing a few things out of a textbook. It's for troubleshooting. It's about looking at a problem, knowing the theory, and trying to apply the theory to make it fix. But the drone has to be able to do that. If getting to the motor in a drone means cracking the frame because it was built to not be taken apart, that's not a good choice for your program. It means your students are going to go into the competition unprepared, because you're not going to have them crack the frame to get inside the drone. Task number 3 is the FAA Knowledge Test. Once again, this is the part 107. Study that, 40 questions, 45 questions, 40 minutes, 250 points. So if you study part 107, you should be prepared for this task. There's not much more to go over than that. It is 1/4 of your entire points for this competition. Task 4 is autonomous flight. So students will provide a mission scenario and will need to plan and explain all aspects of the flight, as well as provide documentation showing calculations and decision-making strategies. So for example, you have these, if you look at the bottom picture here, you have a plot of land, and the drone needs to fly over this plot of land and gather some data. How do we get it from point A to point Z and make sure that it collects all the data we need at every single point? So we have to develop an autonomous flight plan. So you can see the top picture, the yellow lines are the flight plan that was designed to cover this entire area. So key point here, practice autonomous flying. It would be very important for the students to not just understand autonomous flying in theory, but to actually fly autonomously. So picking out a plot of land at the school, maybe the football field, maybe a field in the back, I don't know, something, and then actually saying, all right, students, we're going to collect data over this area. How do we fly it? And then having different groups go through and then make different flight paths, right? Actually have them test it out, go through the engineering process as a class and see whose flight path is the best. What flight path? Is it better to zigzag back and forth like we saw in the last picture? Is it better to go in a spiral? Is it better to crisscross? I don't know. But so the students are going to understand the calculations. They're going to understand autonomous flying if they fly autonomously. So it's imperative that you have a drone that can fly autonomously and can be programmed to do that. So like I said, it's one thing to learn it in theory. It's another thing to go out and do it and to actually see, oh, look at, I thought mine was good. I thought my flight plan was going to work, but look at it. There's too many stop points, and every time it stops, it has to slow down versus what the other person did. Maybe, they went in a kind of continuous circle and that kept the drone speed up, which went a lot faster, for example. Doing a flight plan with a rectangle, doing a flight plan with a triangle area, a circular area, an abstract shape area. What is the best way to go about this? And I think the best way to learn that is to actually practice this in real life at your school in some way. So another key point, being able to do this and not only understand it, but being able to do it, because if they do it, then the understanding will be more innate. They'll actually be able to explain it better and then get more points in that competition. So I'm almost done here. A couple points. Task 1 in the engineering notebook. I mentioned it earlier. These students are going to have to engineer something. They're going to have to attach parts somehow, some way to the drone to make this thing work. It could be a small thing, it could be a bigger thing. But that's the whole point of the competition, right? Everybody might come in and just add a few straws to the bottom to make this widget, and then you come in and have a mechanical device that actually opens and shuts on the bottom for whatever reason. And by the way, there's no limit on the number of blades. A drone could be 4, it could be 6 blades, it could be 8 blades, so that we can carry more weight and engineer something even better underneath it. So what I'm trying to say is there's an engineering piece to this competition, and therefore it's very, very important to have a drone that you can engineer, that you can modify and change. I just want to be very clear here. Mind's Eye, I represent Mind's Eye, so I sell these products. So full disclosure, I sell these products, but Mind's Eye is a drone that you can see here. It comes in parts with specialized connectors, and then you put it together. There's an Arduino board that you have to program. There's a battery that you have to strap to the bottom. You put these motors in, you screw on the blades. You build this drone up. There's a whole sequence of information. There's a whole sequence of steps to get through that. You learn how to programming. So there's actually a programming piece here. And then, so this drone is made by students. And so if it's made by students and there's all these different attachments, there's all these different holes and different places to attach things, they can actually design and create devices that will attach to this drone, because that's what it's made for. It's made to be engineered and changed. It is not buy and fly. It is not, this is what you get, now use it for what you need to use it for. No. It is a drone. There is a certain structure to it, but you can add on to that structure. We encourage it. We encourage you to print the 3D, to design and print 3D print parts that can be attached to this drone. And they will be designed to be attached to this drone. You can see these holes here. These aren't just regular holes. These are a specific configuration. It's a hole that you can actually, we can give you the file for, and then you can 3D print a part around it. So you're not just hanging something off it with like paper clips. It's actually locking in and not being removed. So once again, key point: buy a drone that can be manipulated and changed, engineered, so for the competition. There's also, because you are actually building the drone, these drones actually come with a curriculum. So, I mean, you're going to be covering some physics of flight, right? You're going to be covering some flight dynamics, systems thinking, interrelationship diagram. There's a lot more here than just pulling a drone out of a package and flying it. You're going to be learning a lot about it before even flying it. So, so you can actually build a real pathway out of this. And if you want to build as administrators, you have to build a pathway, hopefully a 2-year pathway. Well, you have to have enough content to put in there, and just going out and flying every day is not enough content. There's a lot built in here. And then Mind's Eye even goes a step further. If you want to, there's even a ground vehicle, unmanned ground vehicle, UGV portion of this, where you get even you get into volts, amps, and watts. You get into the batteries. You get into the motors. You get into more physics. So you could actually build a full program going from ground to aerial with these kits, because they were designed and engineered so students can build and engineer with them, and not just pull them out of the box and start using them. So final thoughts. I've hit this a few times. Don't purchase a buy and fly drone. And that's a drone that can be flown directly out of the box. There's a lot of people out there who will say, oh yeah, our drone works for the Skills USA competition. And I recommend you say, all right, well, here are the tasks. Can I use your drone for this task? Can I use it for maintenance and troubleshooting? Can I fly it? Can I fly it autonomously? Because when they say they can use it for the competition, what they really mean is they can use it for the flight portion of the competition. And that's not good enough for you. It's hard to build a program off of that. And you want the equipment that's going to be used, that you need for your competition. So last thought, Mind's Eye is the only drone on the market that can be used in all the Skills USA tasks effectively. So if you use this one and practice with it, then it's possible that your students can get up to 1,000 points, perfect score, versus the other guys, anybody else, where you can do some tasks, but not the others. And also, because it is a piece of equipment that you engineer and build and program, there's a lot of content in there. And so you can actually build an entire program, a 2-year pathway with certification at the end off of this product. So that's it. That's all I got to say. Here's my information, Joe Russo, my phone number, my email. Feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help. Like I said, I know that I have somewhat of a biased perspective over these because I do sell them, but at the same time, I was a teacher for 10 years. I understand what it's like when you're making big decisions, especially when you get a grant, you have this money, you need to use it correctly. You want to make sure you get the right thing. And I want to make sure you're informed that you are getting the right thing for this competition. So that's really where my heart lies here. I want you to feel successful in your program and make sure that you're not getting something and then realizing a month in, oh shoot, I now have to design all this other stuff on my own. I have to reinvent the wheel here because I was told one thing, but it really didn't pan out. So hope that helps. Thank you. Have a great day.